Yep. All right, streaming.
Streaming.
Skip from the
Streaming.
heart.
Streaming is over.
Class dismissed. That show is going to be the basis of my entire life going forward.
It already was, and I didn't even realize that's what I dedicated my life to as a child and never stopped.
I mean, yeah, you have good taste.
Do I? I have no perspective. Do I have good taste? As an adult watching it, I'm like, this show is more often terrible than it is good. Sometimes when it's good, it's for all the reasons that I don't remember from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just had like flashes of certain kinds of imagery and like sort of touchstone ideas about characters.
Sorry to change my mic again.
Yeah, change it up, switch it up.
You know what? Fuck you guys.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
You get it.
Yeah. Classic.
Classic.
Classic William O'Reilly.
The bard himself. All right, there it goes. It's fixed. First, so my computer wouldn't read my camera the second time around, and then it fucked it again and was like, oh yeah, you want to use the camera microphone because it's the best one you have, right? No, dum-dums.
But you got it all sorted.
Yep. I'm gonna forget how I fixed it tomorrow and it's gonna happen again, but hey,
Sure.
I'll figure it out again. Yeah. Wait, what we're talking. Oh yeah, misfits designs. It's not so much that you have great taste, it's that I also have terrible taste. So I agree with you.
We have a lot of overlap.
That's right. I might like it a little bit worse than you do, but hey.
Maybe I do. I don't know.
I don't think so. Should we clap it in?
Yeah, let's do it. What's up, guys? It's On Fire Tonight with Josh and Teresa. We are here today to talk about From. The show is called From, From, Season 1, Episode 8, and this is your only warning. If you haven't watched it already, pause this, watch that, come back, you're back, welcome back.
Hey, Josh. This episode was like that thing that the Men in Black have where they point in your face and you forget everything.
All right. So for our listeners, Tressa and I very briefly just discussed the fact that even though we both just watched this episode
and took notes,
we barely know what the fuck happened. It was really hard to focus on.
Is it because it was a little bit boring? Is that why it was hard to focus?
I think that's part of it, even though we got stuff that we never had before.
Right.
We got backstory, flashbacks. We got interesting stuff in that.
I was just requesting that and they gave it to me.
They gave you exactly what you wanted.
However, yeah.
So like half this episode is flashback on Boyd and Ellis and Abby.
Yeah.
Arriving in town.
Abby, who was also in Andromeda and Earth Final Conflict. And Andy often talks about Earth Final Conflict, and he always calls it Earth Final Laptop. And I remember him telling that joke in the first place, and I always forget, and he still reminds me. Anyway.
Wait, why does he call it that?
I don't know. I think it's because it was one of those syndicated Saturday afternoon sci-fi shows, and it was just like, to the mainframe, blah, blah, you know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But in space.
Well, I recognize her. Yeah, she's definitely been in lots of big stuff. We find out that there might be more than one parrot head in this town. And Boyd is possibly one of them. It might be that this is secretly a town filled with parrot heads.
Maybe it's the lost Margaritaville.
A pocket universe Margaritaville.
I'm saying. String theory.
Drink theory.
Oh! Fuck, dude, we broke this thing wide open.
Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson, get in touch.
You know where to find us.
You, as always, know where to find us.
Yikes.
He runs the Hayden Planetarium in New York City.
Boyd does?
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson does.
Oh, yeah.
Boyd was a military man who just dreamed of having a boat.
Just like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Maybe. I wonder if Neil deGrasse Tyson likes boats.
Who doesn't?
I'm not really meant for them.
No, thank you.
I mean, in theory, they're my favorite thing, but in practice, I don't actually want to be on one.
I don't want to have anything to do with the beach, quite honestly, or water.
Oh, the beach and water is fine.
Yeah.
But being stuck on a boat.
So much grittiness and so many crevices. No, thank you.
I don't think that necessarily has to be your experience on a boat, small or large.
Unless you're like walking on water to get to the boat. I guess
it's called a pier.
I'm unfamiliar. I do not
like a dock.
Like a
it
doctor,
might be moored
a physician.
off land. It might be moored off land, and you have to take a launch to get to it.
Launch, like the midday meal.
That's a luncheon.
Okay.
There's so much of this boring episode to dig into.
Oh no, let's just do this. All right, so the whole town and fuck cult are all freaking out. It's the next day. Kenny goes up to Boyd and he's like, bro, we gotta say something. And Boyd's like, yeah, you should do that. No, you should do it. Boyd, don't make me do it. It was just a lot of that from Kenny today.
I think Kenny might be my favorite character, or possibly that actor is my favorite actor. I think that the way he plays Kenny is fucking perfect.
Yeah, I see that. He's not my favorite character though.
Like, Jade doesn't want new housemates, and Kenny clear he's like, that guy's the worst.
Yeah,
but like, he just sort of throws the line away like it's so obvious. It's like saying it's raining today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Like, I love it when an actor just goes natural and small. Like they play the moment small because that's what's real.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really into Kenny.
Okay, I get it. Jeez.
Yeah.
The
opposite of that is when Jade busts in on the Matthews family house and Jim's like, stay the fuck away from my daughter. Oh, let's just have a totally different conversation now that I've just said that.
That's the second time Jade has done that. Like, bro, I get this as Nightmare Town, but you don't just break into someone's house and start talking. People are going to be like, would you like
I love that he's
water?
Moved in with the Liu family. And they're like now basically refugees from the fuck cult. And he's like, I don't want new housemates. And one of them is like, didn't you think this was a giant escape room like yesterday?
Yeah, that's the lady he stole the bike from.
Okay, so I still love Jade. But I think Kenny's fucking killing it.
And the two of them together talk about your classic odd couple.
Totally.
That's what I want. I want a remake of The Odd Couple with Jade and Kenny.
I mean, you're getting it.
I want more. I want an offshoot. I want a classic sitcom in Nightmare Town with somebody make that. Anyway, last episode, somebody said, "Oh, I didn't get anyone on the radio." Like Jim and Tabitha were talking. He's like, "I didn't get anyone on the radio, but I got static." And she's like, "Well, that means it works, right?" He's like, "Yeah." And they said that again, like Jade and Jimmy together were like, "Oh, static. Yeah, that means it works." It was doing static before. And also, just because it turns on doesn't mean it works.
I mean, if it's functional, but it can't send to anyone that can receive it, or it can't receive from anyone else, it's only so functional. So we don't know really how much it's able to do. We know that it is able to get static.
Turn on?
And static could be nothing.
I'm saying, just because something turns on does not mean it works.
Did you know that there's just low-level static all the time, everywhere, because of the Big Bang? Neil deGrasse Tyson will explain that to you.
Right now.
We'll just play the clip now?
Yeah, now. You've had it synced up for a while, so might as well just do it now.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if we just out of nowhere turn this into like a drive time radio show with sound drops, but our sound drops were like
science,
fascinating bites of science
instead of fart noises
and car fart noises and crashing sounds.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so they're getting static. Great.
They decide they have to go somewhere high, which I thought that was the original idea to begin with.
Yeah, they go speak to Donna to beg her to let them build a tower, which she says okay to, and they're like, okay, so you're okay with this? Like, everything is so melodramatic. Like, right. Hey, we need to do this thing that might save all of our lives. Okay, great, let's do that. Oh, I'm shocked that you have agreed to this.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Just if you have an idea, any stupid dumbass idea, sure, go for it. Well,
yeah,
what am I going to do? Stop you?
She tells them what's really on her mind, which is that 14 people got killed here last night.
Yeah, no offense, dudes. I don't give a shit.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Donna's my favorite.
Donna's great. Meanwhile, Boyd and Sarah go camping. Sarah was the girl who accidentally murdered her brother when she was trying to murder that other kid. We have had a lot less of Ethan for several episodes. We took a hard turn away from that kid. Like, this, when the show started, we were following him a lot, and we've got a lot less of him now.
Yeah, he had a hard couple of hours digging a gigantic hole in the basement, so he's been sleeping. He had all that cement to file down around the edges so no one would get hurt. I'm mad at that hole. So we got to talk about how they get into town, how Boyd and Abby and Ellis get into town. He's talking about his Margaritaville dreams and having a boat and all that. And he gets surprised with the boat, blah, 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 blah. They drive into town and...
So wait, just to back up for a second. He's like trying to convince his family members that they should get a boat. And they are poo-pooing the idea as something that they could never do and never afford.
What a dumbass idea.
Surprise!
Oh,
Abby presents him with a boat key very casually. And he's overjoyed.
It was adorable.
Yeah, totally adorable. Great couple. Nothing will ever go wrong with that couple.
I'm so glad. I can't wait to see their journey together.
So we see a couple of couples stories going right and wrong. We see that couple and what goes on with them. And then we also dig into Jim and Tabitha.
Snore,
Yeah, Snore City. fucking boring.
I don't care.
Like, I don't have your same problem of I can't tune into human emotion,
Unless it's boring as fuck.
but it was boring as fuck.
That is correct. Yeah. So Boyd, Abby, and Ellis are driving into town for the first time, maybe third, fourth, I don't know. But Priest Guy, does Priest Guy even have a name, or is he just Priest? I don't remember.
I forget. Priest.
Okay, who gives a shit? He like runs out in front of their car and he's like, wait a minute, you gotta stop. You're troubled, guys. Blah. And Abby pulls out a gun and he's like, good, you have a gun. And she's like, yeah, and I'm gonna fucking shoot you. Get the fuck away from our car. And then the ghouls start screaming. So everyone jumps into some sort of bunker. Jimmy Buffett, Black Jimmy Buffett, Donna, and Priest are all huddled in there. And they wait out the night. And then it's over. And now they've got a whole new life to settle into. We're going to find out what the fuck happened to Abby. And that was short. Not necessarily what I expected, but not necessarily what I didn't not expect. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So before Boyd and the family got to this town, they just hung out in holes in the ground.
Covered in like, first off,
covered with like a little bit of turf.
How? All right, I guess. How long had they been doing that? The ghouls never caught on to that bullshit? I would think it'd be obvious, but what do I know? I'm no ghoul.
Yeah, did Victor spend 50 years doing that?
Seriously, how the fuck? Oh, you know why? Because of the little boy.
The little boy told him to get into a hole in the ground.
No, the little boy saved him every fucking night. That's my theory.
That could be right.
So we also get to see, this is all like Boyd. This is the Boyd episode because we get to see how he found the talisman, which is fucking dumbass gets lost in the woods because he was chasing a fucking dog.
Right, the ghost dog or the ghoul dog or the dog that is somehow associated with the little boy.
Yeah. And he stumbles upon a little stone hut or whatever the fuck. And he sees these talisman everywhere. After all the ghouls are like, oh, you're in there. See you later.
Yeah, they just sort of drift away.
But guess who was there? The milkman. We love the milkman.
The milkman. All right. I said Kennedy was my favorite. But really, it's the guy in the milkman costume.
Same. I just wanted to talk about the milkman for a little bit, but I'm done with it now, so you can do the rest of the episode.
Yeah, so Boyd brings the talismans back to town. He's like, hey guys, this is awesome.
Hey, what are you doing, Abby? What's going on? What are those loud noises? Hey, Abby, what are you doing? I brought some stuff that I found. Hey, Abby.
So,
hey, Abby, you seem like you're troubled a little bit, Abby.
Yeah, he arrives on Main Street and Abby is just gunning down everyone. And apparently everyone is around.
Yeah, just hanging out.
She seems to have killed like a dozen people and she's about to kill Donna when Boyd is like, hey,
remember that song?
Yeah, and tries to like distract her with his dumb boat song, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. And then I have no idea.
And then Ellis comes.
She's momentarily distracted. Ellis comes out and she raises the gun as if to fire at her son. And Boyd puts her out of her misery.
Question.
She's completely lost her mind. And she believes that Boyd must have been killed in the night. There's no way he made it back alive. So seeing him, she doesn't believe that it's really him. She's lost all hope. She had already been cracking up
Question.
Said.
Question. I have a question.
What's your question?
I don't know anything about guns.
Mm-hmm.
Can they not be used to maim or injure a person, or are they only specifically used to kill your crazy wife?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Possibly Boyd is not that great a shot.
So he's like aiming for the leg and accidentally gets her in the forehead.
Something like that.
Cool, got it.
Or
30 years in the military, and that's all he gets for it.
I mean, the torso is the biggest part of the body, so aim for that, I guess.
Aim for the butt.
Aim for the butt.
Yeah.
You need a shot in the butt.
Ooh, never mind. So that's over. That's what that was. Everyone knows what happened to his wife now. We can move on. Now, we get Julie. She's all upset because she saw some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting in the basement in the big ass hole. And her mom comes down. She's like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, not great. Hey, were you guys still getting divorced? Okay, first off, Julie, there are no attorneys here. There's no law here. They're not getting a divorce right now. Second off, she's like, was it because of me? Yep. Let me tell you, children all over the world, it's always your fault.
Yeah.
JK, 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 JK.
Yeah, so there's a long, very boring conversation. We get nothing. We get nothing from that, right?
No, we get information like, oh, yeah,
We
that
get backstory.
kid died. Right. That kid died that we talked about in one episode a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you how that kid died, which seems like he didn't just get injured. He fucking died off of rolling off a changing table. How high was this changing table? Is your floor made out of marble? What's going on there, guys? You didn't take it to the hospital? Like, what are you guys doing?
It.
Yep. Well, it's a corpse now, so fuck you. Yeah. So that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much the extent of that. But Kenny is yelling at Boyd some more, and he's like, I don't. Boyd's like, I'm going to go find the answer. I'm going to go on my hike and do whatever I do. And Kenny's like, no, you can't do this. We've had these talismans and they've been abandoned. We need to find an answer. And that's what Boyd's trying to fucking do. A. B, it's a really fucking good Band-Aid. Kenny.
Well, I think that there's like some confusion. Like people did not clearly know that Kevin let Jasmine the ghoul in.
Oh no, they did not. You're right.
So they think that the power of the talisman is no longer good. They've lost faith in it as a thing because they don't realize that it was
some
human
dumbass.
error.
Yeah, I didn't get that. So
I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because then Fatima saves Ellis by using a talisman, even though they suspect that perhaps the talisman won't work, but it does.
Okay, yeah, that's so fucking simple, and I totally didn't catch any of that because I was like, why are you concerned if that will work or not? And she was like, well, it worked for your dad in the RV. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they could have done a better job at the top of this episode of just clarifying why people lost faith in the talismans, like that they believed that. I mean, my reading of this might be entirely wrong, but if my reading is right, I think they could have set up that concept a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, just a conversation of like, oh, they don't work anymore.
I can't believe the talisman must have failed us.
It's been working for so long. It must have expired.
Something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. You're right. Boyd goes to Ellis, who is in the infirmary or whatever the fuck it is, and he's like, hey, I'm leaving. Might be for good. If you want to say anything, get your shots in. But I
Right. And
love
he's also like,
you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm
Uh-huh.
so proud of the man that you've grown into.
Which, don't lie. And he leaves because Ellis is like, whatever, it's great, fine, whatever. And then Fatima comes in and she just starts spitting truth. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to my dad.
Oh, go. Right.
So he fucking follows his dad to the shack. He's like, I've been trying to like figure out what I'm gonna say to you. That's a long fucking hike, I assume. If it's longer than 500 feet, it's too long. What are you doing, dude? All the way to the shack? It obviously he had to so he could see that Sarah was in that shack. It was all part of a plot point, but all the way and then Boyd's not going to hear anybody following him. You're bad at being in the military for 30 years. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be good to make a career out of the military. You just keep re-enlisting.
Yeah.
As long as you're good enough, right? Like good enough for government work is like,
Yeah, good enough to not get fired or whatever the military equivalent is.
I think dishonorable discharge.
Yeah, any kind of discharge. If you can't get discharged, you're good.
There was no discharge.
Not in my job. Abby.
Right. So Ellis sees Sarah, is like, oh, that's fucked up. And Boyd is like, well, she might know some shit. So we're going to take her.
Like, again, people bury the lead in every conversation they have in this fucktown. Like,
Right.
before you, okay, he sees Ellis. He like glances at the shack, like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. How about, hey, Ellis, real quick, I need you to know that something's going on and this is what it is. So when she inevitably walks out that door because she's going to, because God damn it, this is what's going on and don't get mad. Okay, don't get mad. And then you can tell me what you need to tell me. Okay? Okay, good. But no one takes initiative. No one takes the goddamn spike strip out of the road. No one fucking tells people that they murdered the kid's dad and not did something bad to the kid. Nobody fucking tells their kid about Sarah in the shack. They just let shit happen.
Yeah. And more often than not, a character will have self-righteous anger as just part of a scene. Like the scene opens with self-righteous anger and then, oh, like, let's negotiate something now.
Yeah. Let's
I fucking hate the show. I've come around to hating the show. Oh, wait, I take it back. Kenny and Christy have a book club.
Adorable.
Right?
Yeah.
So he stops by the infirmary where she's just like putting a band-aid on someone and being like, you're great now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be busy today. She's just chipper. Nothing gets her down. We don't know anything about her other than she's engaged to someone out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a nice attitude. Kenny's got a crush on her. And when he gives her the book so that she can like read the next chapter, she gives him a little kiss.
She's leading him on.
I guess is that leading him on?
She knows that he's got a crush on her.
Maybe she's like kind of into him too.
Well, she already said she wasn't, unless she's coming around. But okay.
Didn't she say like, I don't know. I mean, I have a fiance, which is not the same as I don't like him.
Okay, fair, but I don't know, choose one. Like, are you dedicated to this person you might never see again? Or are you just gonna like, shit happens. Hey, I'm back into not Nightmare Town. And also, fiance, I kind of fooled around with the dude because I didn't think I'd ever see you again. So we're cool, right? And then since it's Nightmare Town, her fiance is probably like 200 years older because of how time works in Nightmare Town.
Right.
And so,
Time
like,
passes at a different rate. That makes sense.
I mean,
It
I
makes
don't
as
know.
much sense as anything.
I just assume that it does. I don't think that's been proven anywhere, but yes, absolutely. It's fine. I feel like there was something else. Whatever. We close out this episode with Boyd leading Sarah on this hike.
In handcuffs.
Yeah. Um, the only fate worse than a hike is a hike in handcuffs. I cannot fucking imagine how terrible that would be.
That's completely unreasonable to handcuff a person and have them
How about
defenseless in nightmare woods.
thank you?
Like regular woods hard enough, nightmare woods.
Uh-uh. Well, you
Okay.
don't know the rules in Nightmare Woods.
Okay, so if you're terrified, rightly so, that
Mm-hmm.
Sarah might just fucking try to murder you because she hears voices,
Uh-huh.
don't bring Sarah. If you think she's going to be valuable to help figure out a way out because she has this weird connection to voices,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to let her be able to like walk like a normal human being through the woods. You can't handcuff her. That's crazy.
That is like, how are you going to use your crazy shitballs psychic power if you're distracted by handcuffs? That's all you're going to be able to think about. How much you hate hiking and how much you're wearing handcuffs. Nope.
Yeah, it's weird that Boyd didn't want a third person with them.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Boyd seems like he's kind of a dumbass.
I don't think that character is written super well.
What? This whole show is a fucking masterpiece. You know what I was thinking would be fucking hilarious?
Mm.
If by the end of this season, every single question is answered so perfectly in the most perfect way,
Oh,
in a way that
I will eat my words. I'll
oh, for
apologize.
sure,
I'll
for
say
sure,
sorry and thank you
for sure.
up and
But
down the board.
I think that there's no fucking way that's going to happen, but I think it would be so fucking hilarious.
It could happen. It could happen.
And monkeys could fly out of my butt.
Even if they answer to our satisfaction, like half of our questions,
Uh-huh.
I think that would be incredible.
The fact that they acknowledge the fact that they have no right to electricity, I appreciate.
Or food.
I mean, they have not explained that. They're just like, it
Right.
happens. That's how.
For the first time, apparently, Boyd in the flashback in this episode found chickens and a goat in the woods. So what the fuck were they doing for decades before that?
Was it all canned peaches for fucking decades?
Was Victor cryogenically like frozen and grow up like in a tube?
What?
Like, I'm saying, like, how did Victor get from being a little kid who was the only person alive in this town 50 years ago to an adult without
It's got to be that cellar that he shoved Julie in, kind of.
Well, I am hopeful for some answers. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because that is all the time we have for this
Oh
episode.
boy, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Okay.